One of the best ways for students to engage deeply with what they're learning about is to write about it. That's because the process of writing isn't simply about putting words on paper. It's about clarifying our learning and sharpening our thinking. After all, most of us don't know what we think until we see what we've written. Cognitive writing is an instructional strategy that helps students to extend and apply what they have learned by engaging them in active thought and reflection. To use cognitive writing, provide students with a prompt that asks them to think critically and begin to apply what they have learned, perhaps by summarizing it in their own words, stating their own opinions about it, or applying it to a real-life situation or issue. Well-designed extended writing assignments prompt students to process information actively, making connections between concepts, organizing their ideas, and reflecting on their learning. Research shows that cognitively challenging writing tasks enhance students' comprehension, problem-solving skills, and long-term recall of what they've learned. By translating their thoughts into written words, students clarify their thinking, integrate and connect new knowledge, and identify gaps in their own understanding. Writing also helps students to arrange their ideas into mental models that they can use throughout their lives to better think through and solve complex challenges and problems. Here are some tips for using cognitive writing in your classroom. Before assigning a writing task to students, spend time directly teaching and modeling the critical thinking skills that students will need to use in their writing. This might include things like setting goals, tapping into prior knowledge, making predictions, close reading of source material, identifying main ideas, and revising and self-assessing one's own thinking and writing. The most effective use of cognitive writing helps students extend and apply what they've learned in a lesson or unit of study. For example, after a science lesson, students could write a paragraph summarizing the water cycle in their own words, or explain how photosynthesis affects their daily lives. Lastly, develop tools and guides such as think sheets and rubrics that help students arrange their thinking and makes clear to them what elements to include in their finished products and what effective use of those elements looks like. That way, as students are working on their drafts, they can refer to the rubric to self-assess and ask for feedback from peers and teachers to revise their work. One of the biggest benefits of cognitive writing is that it gives students some choice and voice in their learning, inviting them to share their thinking, which in turn helps them to transfer what they've learned to other situations and apply it to their own lives.